now, Erin Elmore. Erin, give us a lay of the land, if you will.
Wow. I mean, that's a tall order, if I don't say so myself. I think that, unfortunately, this political process is going to end up in massive amounts of litigation in swing states. We know that Rudy Giuliani, by the way, is on his way to my home city of Philadelphia. The president is now at his campaign headquarters in Virginia. Arizona is having massive problems with their initial tallies. Pennsylvania is going to be huge. We've got to look at Wisconsin and Michigan. All these key swing states are going to be impacted by these mail-in ballots. We're not really seeing problems with the in-person voting. And I would say, if it was a partisan conversation, that the Democrats should have been more careful what they wished for, because the clear lines here are not going to be drawn for a very long time.
When you say the clear lines, what do you mean?
I mean, a path to 270, even though we see the number that might be on the television, it might not be an accurate number. We're hearing Arizona was called pretty early, and now we see, hold on a second, these numbers are just not adding up. So this is going to end up in legal battles. We've already seen a few, and more are to come. Pennsylvania is going to be key because they were given those 3 extra days to count the ballots. But now, what is happening here? Yeah. That's the true question. Is there fraud? Are they actually appropriate ballots? What has been counted in the right way? Which jurisdictions are we looking at? The legal battles could go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and we know that there are changes to the Supreme Court with Amy Coney Barrett. So these legal battles are going to look differently than they may have looked a few weeks ago, and I think they are going to be arduous and long, and nothing is going to be clear-cut for weeks, potentially.
Wow, that's something. Seth, I don't know that the counting is going to stop. I don't know that declaring victory makes you the victor. Obviously, it doesn't. There's a process we go through. But what is accomplished from the administration here? There's a lot to challenge there. The naked ballot, where people don't put it in the proper envelope to send it in, whether those should be counted, whether the ballots should be counted that are coming in many days after Election Day. What gets your eye the most?
Well, listen, and I know this might come as a surprise to Christina, but I think that
I do see some truth in what he just said, but I think the issue is that 2016, a lot of the Democrats never accepted the outcome of that election. So what is going to say that we are going to have their faith in this election? I think that both parties want a full and fair tallying of these votes, but that is unfortunately going to require a legal process in courts. And you were speaking about the differences in the ballots. I hope that each state has a uniform process, whether it's the way that the envelopes are presented or way the ballots are filled out or when they arrive. All of these things should be uniform, so each state is truly decided upon the merits.
Yeah. How do you look at this, Christina?
To frame himself as the victor. And I think both strategies can work, frankly. I think that the president has a path, if they can show enough malfeasance on the part of voters, to get this to the Supreme Court.
Okay. Sorry, that was Eric, and I know that sounds that I should be more clear. So go ahead and respond, Erin.
Yes, and my apologies to Eric. I am not one to interrupt. This modern day technology with which we are dealing makes things a little complicated. I do sincerely apologize for my lack of professionalism there. No. Having said all that, I do agree with Eric. There are several ways to skin this cat, and I think this is much more massive than Bush v. Gore, because that was just in Florida. We are facing potential litigious situations in myriad of states. So first it's going to have to go to the states, and then it's going to matriculate up to the Supreme Court of the United States. And by the way, the Supreme Court of the United States has the right to choose whether or not they hear these cases. So this outcome is not certain by any means. And by the way, the American people will have their say in this matter. They have voted, and they're going to see, all of this is public record. Now, all of a sudden, we're seeing in certain states, we have X number of registered voters and X number of ballots. These things will come to light. Yeah. The toothpaste cannot be put back in the tube here. This is not the first time we've heard of, let's just say it, Democrats engaging in nefarious activity with ballots. So these things will come to light, and unfortunately, it is going to be a long process. Everyone that is texting me, I just keep telling them to buckle up and drink your coffee, because you're going to need to be alert and cogent, because this is going to be a long, arduous process.
Okay, now we don't know that there was nefarious activity, and hopefully we go forward and find out. Hopefully they also sequester all the ballots that come in after Election Day and all those naked ballots so they can be counted separately. And the legal issues here that may get to the Supreme Court, hopefully we'll be able to separate everything appropriately so we can count properly if they do need to rule on something. But again, we don't know exactly what's. We'll be back with more of American Agenda after this.